Alright, so I'm gonna say something that where I'm from, you're basically not allowed to even think. Ready? I think I'm capable of absolutely anything. First of all, that felt good to finally say out loud. Second of all, holy fuck, it's hot up in this. Here's the thing though, because I didn't say that I think I'm better than anyone else. I said I think I'm capable of absolutely anything. And that one word difference is more important than you think it is. So today, fuck being average. And I'm gonna show you why the hype crowd and the just accept yourself crowd are actually both wrong. How to aim higher without it basically destroying you. And the one thing I'm still getting wrong myself, so you don't have to. Let's talk about it. Hey yo, if you're new here, I'm Alex. I'm spending a year becoming the person I keep telling myself I'll be, and I'm documenting the whole thing here on YouTube. I'm starting with a weight loss journey, but that's the part you can see. Today I want to talk about the part you cannot see. What you actually let yourself believe you're allowed to want. So let me explain where this kind of mentality actually comes from, because I've been living in Denmark for the past 12 years now, where this kind of thinking is actually more or less part of the culture. But this actually goes back a lot further than Denmark, because I grew up in Romania right after communism fell. And while I didn't live under it, all the people that raised me did. My parents, my teachers, all kind of shaped inside that system. And that kind of mindset gets passed down whether anyone means it or not. You know, just keep your head down, don't make waves, who do you think you are? But then I left, and I didn't move to a country or somewhere that would knock it out of me. I didn't move to a place like the United States, for example, where you have the whole, dream big or chase the American dream thing. I moved to Denmark, where, they have their own version of keep your head down, and it's called Janteloven. And that essentially says don't think of yourself as being special, don't think you're better than anyone else. So the belief I had when I left didn't get challenged in any way, shape or form. It more or less got reinforced to some degree. It was just two countries, same idea-ish. And me, I kind of understood it the wrong way because, don't think of yourself as being special or don't think of yourself better than anyone else kind of made me think that I shouldn't, think big, basically. It kind of turned into don't aim too high, just be normal. And for that reason, for years, I kind of chose to be average, and called it humble. Well, I'm finally fucking done with that shit. Starting today, I want to be a bit delusional with what I think I'm capable of. Or, maybe a little bit more. But, let's get one thing straight, though, because I'm not saying, and I've never said that I think I'm better than anyone else, because I'm not. That version of it, I think it's fucked up. I'm saying I'm capable of absolutely anything. Me versus what I can do. Because better than anyone else kind of puts people underneath you, Capable of anything, on the other hand, needs no one except you. The first one is supposed to be a competition with others, while the second one is a competition with yourself. And the enemy here is average, and not average people. It's more like the autopilot, the comfort zone, the just letting life happen to yourself instead of you making life happen. But like I said, there's a problem, because if you're saying this out loud, you'll hit two camps that are kind of both wrong. There's camp A, the hype guys, the you were born for greatness, never settle, you're a lion king. And that feels kind of good for 4 seconds, because underneath it all, they're still selling be better than anyone else. Camp B is smarter, though, and they're arguing that the fear of being average is a trap. Because if your drive is not wanting to be like everyone else, your happiness is hostage to everyone else. And they're right, it is. So in my opinion, they both kind of have half the truth, because one has the fire pointed in the wrong direction and the other one sees the trap and just quits. So here's what neither of these guys are saying out loud. It was never better than them, it's more than I was. And that essentially means that you should measure yourself against who you were yesterday. It's still a comparison, but it's the healthy kind. And I know it works because I'm kind of running a small version of this right now, because 6 months ago, I promised something crazy to myself. I promised that I was gonna post 52 videos in 1 year, one every single week, while losing serious weight on camera. And you know, here I am just doing it. That's the mindset, at small scale, but it's paying off even now. However, don't make the mistake of thinking that aiming huge means aiming at everything all at once, because it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. That's how you start 10 big things, you know, all at once, and you're gonna quit all of them because it's not gonna work. It has to be one goal, one big goal at a time. I'm starting with, you know, getting in the best shape of my life, because I believe that a capable body and, you know, a clear mind, which comes from that, are essentially the foundation that everything else gets built on. And I'm actually talking from experience, because if you neglect this one day you wish you hadn't. And that one day, it's gonna be much harder to fix, or even maybe too late to fix. Now, here's a really big challenge, an upcoming challenge for me, because I'm gonna leave for Greece next week. And I'm gonna be gone for 2.5 weeks. And this morning when I stepped on the scale, I was actually 115 kilos sharp. So my goal is to come home no heavier than that, because I actually learned the hard way that it was this kind of trips, you know, in the past that kind of broke all my diets. There were always two scenarios, both ending the same way, because I either came home with the regret that I overdid it, or I came home with the regret that I didn't let myself enjoy it, you know, the way I thought I was supposed to. That regret made me feel miserable, you know, and that's basically what killed it every single time. And so this time around, I kind of have to find the right balance. I have to stay active, walk a ton, swim like a dog, and just maybe avoid the bad stuff. The goal isn't to have like a perfect trip, you know, the goal is just coming home without any of those regrets and just ready to lock in and get back on track. So that's basically gonna be the test that I have to pass this time around. That's when I know I actually changed and, you know, kind of earned the right to aim at something ridiculous. So then what does aiming huge looks like? Because I think it's more like, you know, refusing to set goals that are just average. For me, you know, I don't want to just look in the mirror and go, yeah, fine. I want to go like, wow, you sexy motherfucker, you know. I want to see my abs for the first time in my life. I want to look and feel the healthiest I've ever been. I mean, you know, just look at that. I played with AI for a bit just to see how my body can look like, and wow, yeah, I want that. And the reason this feels like a crazy goal for me is because of the fact that I've been fat. I said this before, but I've been fat my whole life. Like, I don't remember myself even being normal. It was always overweight or obese or morbidly obese, you know. But now I finally believe in myself. I believe I can do it, and I will do it no matter what. And that's because I'm finally letting myself dream big, you know. And I think you should do too. Just set that big goal. And even if it sounds crazy or scary, you know what they say, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll still end up amongst the stars. Seriously, just pick the goal that feels crazy to say out loud, and make sure you're not gonna, you know, measure it against anyone else. Just measure it against who you are or who you were. And like I said before, chase it for one big reason: the pride of becoming the person who did it. There's one small catch though, because this whole, you know, fuck being average fire, that's a match actually. It's great for kind of, you know, just getting off the couch, but it burns out fast. What keeps you going, however, is knowing why you're climbing, the whole reason why you're climbing, and then going all in. So if any of that resonated, just pick one goal you kept small for the single reason that you were kind of afraid to make it big. Just name it. And then just, you know, say the delusional version out loud, even if it's just to yourself, like a crazy person. And if you're even braver than that, just put it down in the comments. I would love to know that I started a small fire inside of you. And if part of you is just sitting there and thinking, yeah, easy to say, man, fair enough, just go watch last week's video. It's more than 6 months of me essentially proving that this stuff actually works. Start there, and always remember, it's not that serious.